So here we have the Volvo 850 from Hot Wheels. This is 1/64th scale. The reason I'm converting this is to make a replica of this. This was my cousin's grandfather's Volvo 940, which he recently inherited when his grandfather passed away. I want to make a version in tribute. So the first thing to do is to drill out the rivet. I'm using a 4mm steel drill bit here, and very gently with that. Then when the rivet has been drilled away, then prising it apart with a flathead screwdriver. Here you can see there's some quite nice interior detail, including a spare tyre in the back. Got the wheels pinned to the undercarriage here, window including sunroof, and the bodywork all in red. I'll need to make this purple. So here are all the parts. First thing to do is to strip the paint of the bodywork. So I've clipped that here, and I'm using this paint Predator, which I got from Homebase in the UK. Have a look at the instructions here if you're interested in this product. Be very careful. I'm using a spare brush for this. I'm protecting the work surface, also my hands with gloves, and I made sure that the window was nice and wide. I left this for half an hour. After 15 minutes you can see it taking effect on the bonnet in the middle, and then after half an hour it's all peeling off. I'm using an old toothbrush, make sure that this doesn't go back into the bathroom, to scrape off the paintwork. You see it comes off really nicely. Don't wash this down the drain, think of the environment. I'm going to bag this up and put it in the bin afterwards. If some of it doesn't come off, then scrape most of the loose stuff off and then reapply the paint remover in those tough to reach areas. This was rinsed in a bowl of water, and now you can see it's nice and clean. I'm using these fine pointed tweezers to scrape out some of the hard to reach areas like the panel lines. There's also some areas where the casting could be a little bit smoother, like on the rear tailgate here, so I'm using some sanding sticks just to smooth those down. You may want to do that on other parts of the body as well. There's a little bit of red on the inside, but I'm not too worried about that. There it is. Now on the chassis here we've got this kind of front lip, which is quite sporty, but definitely not on the car I'm trying to replicate. So I'm using clippers to remove that, and then I'll sand it flat as best as possible. And now I think it looks a lot more like the version I'm going for. Now if you're keeping the wheels, it's important to mask them off at this stage. If you're changing them for some aftermarket ones, then you might want to clip them off. But here I'm just using some Tamiya masking tape just to wrap around as best as possible, pinching the outside. No paint should get into those at all. Bodywork is primed with Tamiya Fine Grey, and I'm going for this look here. This is this Painter's Touch from Rust-Oleum, purple gloss, and then with some Tamiya Smoke as a clear coat. And there you are, you can see you've got that really dark, deep purple look. Now the grille here needs to be chrome, so I'm using this Posca paint pen. Good thing about this is it's quite slow to dry, so any mistakes can be kind of scratched away. I've left this in the bare black plastic rather than painting it. And the interior of this car is mainly a kind of grey, so I'm using this Rivet matte stone grey for the seats and dashboard. I want to cover up the spare wheel and the kind of nitrous thing in there, so I cut a small piece of cardboard out to act as a sort of parcel shelf. Now here you can see I've masked off the clear section to paint over the sunroof. And my cousin's car doesn't have the sunroof, so I'm just painting it the same colour as the external. That had already been primed, and it matches up to the bodywork pretty well. The masking has worked well on the wheels. I'm pretty happy with this. And to attach the little parcel shelf, which I've also painted in stone grey, I'm just using a little blob of blue tack under there. Easy. And now just test fitting it. Found that this fits better if you put the glass inside the metal bodywork. So this is now all cured, so the next step is to add the headlights and taillights. Ordinarily I'd put down some black before putting the silver down, but the purple is already pretty dark, so this is giving me a pretty good coverage, I found. Using a very, very fine brush for this job. Once that was cured, it was then time to add the indicators. I used an orange fine point Sharpie just to add a small bit of orange on the edge. And then the same for the tail lights. This time I used red Sharpie as well as orange Sharpie. Just important to neaten up these tail lights as best as possible. I also added a little bit of matte black to some of the rubber areas of the car, such as on the tailgate and the door handles. Now it's time to put it all together. Now I found this display base which wasn't being used, so I drilled some holes through into the plastic chassis of the car, then found some small screws. What I'd also done is the sort of number plate bit on the back which clips the car together. I painted that yellow to replicate a UK number plate. Finally, a little super glue gel fitted it all together, and there it was finished. My cousin David was pretty happy with this. He'd been looking online for a model of this car and couldn't find one, so it's pretty good, I think. Pretty close to the 940, even if it is really an 850. Let me know what you think down below. I've enjoyed this, so might be doing some more Hot Wheels, Matchbox, dinky car conversions in the future. Let me know what you'd like to see me do on the channel, and I'll see you soon.